People have always loved animals, and especially cats and dogs. They are the most popular pets around the world, and have even been worshipped as gods and used to help us work in the past. As they are so important to our societies, it is only natural that idioms surrounding cats and dogs have entered our languages and everyday vocabulary. So, on this episode of Thinking in English, I'm going to introduce you to 5 cat-based idioms and 5 dog-based idioms that you can apply to your daily lives. Make sure you look at the full transcript available on thinkinginenglish.blog and head over to my Instagram page for some more content. Both links are in the description. Let's start with some cat idioms. From the ancient Egyptians to the modern day societies that we all live in, people have always loved cats. And over the years, cats have entered our languages too. Fat cat. A fat cat is an idiom used to describe someone who is rich, powerful, and successful in business. However, it is not positive. It is actually disparaging. So don't use it positively. We call business people or maybe even politicians fat cats when we disapprove of how they are using their power and wealth because it probably seems unfair to us. The idiom comes from the 1920s in the USA and originally just referred to a rich person who donated money to political parties. For example, the government makes normal people pay taxes, but gives fat cats so many tax breaks. Let the cat out of the bag. If you let the cat out of the bag, you reveal a secret or a surprise. And usually this is accidental. You didn't want to let the cat out of the bag. For example, if you accidentally tell your mum about a surprise birthday party your family was organizing for her, then you let the cat out of the bag. This idiom actually has quite a strange origin. It comes from a few hundred years ago and refers to dishonest salespeople trying to sell cats instead of pigs, because cats were cheaper than pigs. For instance, Mum let the cat out of the bag and told everyone Sarah was getting married. Look what the cat dragged in. Cats are famous for killing small animals outside and then dragging them back into their owner's home. It's normally not a nice surprise when you find a dead bird or mouse in your kitchen in the morning. So we use "look what the cat dragged in" as an insult to announce a person's arrival. Most of the time, it is a mild or playful or good-humoured insult used to greet a good friend, especially if that friend looks messy or disheveled. For example, after Tom walked into the room, soaking wet from the rain, Jim said, "Look what the cat dragged in." More than one way to skin a cat. This idiom sounds strange. To skin is a verb that means to remove an animal's skin. But don't worry, the idiom is not nearly as gruesome. There's more than one way to skin a cat means that there are many different methods to achieve the same goal. The famous writer Mark Twain used the phrase "she knew more than one way to skin a cat" in his famous book, A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court, all the way back in 1889. For example, if you don't have enough money to buy a car outright, you can always rent, lease, or finance instead. There's more than one way to skin a cat. And our final cat idiom is cat nap. Cats famously sleep a lot, especially during the day. So if you take a cat nap, you take a very brief but restful sleep. For instance, The nurse took a catnap between her double shifts. So next, let's move on to the dog idioms. Cats aren't the only animal we love. Dogs are known as man's best friend, so of course, dog-based idioms have also become common in our languages. Dog eat dog. Dog eat dog is an idiom used to describe something characterized by ruthless behavior and competition, especially societies, situations, and industries. Dogs normally don't eat other dogs, but if and when they do, it can only be in a serious situation with ruthless dogs and lots of competition for food and other things. For instance, be careful making business deals. It's a dog eat dog industry out there, so don't be tricked by everyone's smiles. All bark, no bite. Bark is the noun and verb used to describe the sound a dog makes. Sometimes dogs can bark a lot. Moreover, sometimes their barks can be loud and intimidating. However, if a dog is all bark and no bite, it means that although the dog seems threatening, it will never bite you. Thus, all bark and no bite is also used to talk about people similar to this. I'm sure you've met people before who talk a lot, and maybe they talk very aggressively and threateningly. However, if they never actually follow through with their threats and they never do anything that they say, we can describe them as having all bark and no bite. For example, my neighbor always threatens to call the police if I play loud music, but he is all bark and no bite. Call off the dogs. To call off the dogs means to stop yourself or someone else from disparaging or behaving aggressively towards someone. It means to stop criticizing or attacking. The idiom originally comes from hunting. Most people think about dogs as friendly accomplices. However, they can be used as weapons to attack and defend. In fact, dogs are still used for hunting in many places today. And when you're hunting, once the dogs have caught or killed their target, you don't want them to eat it. So you need to call off the dogs. You need to stop that attack. And this has now become an idiom. For instance, your mother won't stop asking me questions. Can you please call off the dogs? A doggy bag. Have you ever been to a restaurant but not managed to eat everything you ordered? Most people have. Some restaurants allow you to take your leftovers home and they give you a doggy bag to put them in. So, a doggy bag is a bag or a container used to package the leftovers of a meal at a restaurant to take home and eat later. As in, the servings at this restaurant are so massive that I always ask for a doggy bag before I leave. And the final dog idiom is hair of the dog. The hair of the dog, or the longer version, the hair of the dog that bit you, is an alcoholic drink that you drink in the morning after a night of heavy drinking and normally when you have a hangover. A hangover is the headache you get if you drink too much. Some people believe that drinking more alcohol in the morning helps to cure you. It's a traditional idea in ancient medicine that the thing that hurt you can also be the thing that cures you. Many years ago, people believed that if you were bitten by a dog, the hair of that dog, the dog that bit you, could help you heal from your injuries. It's probably or definitely not true, but hair of the dog has become an idiom used to refer to an alcoholic drink, which heals you from the effects of alcohol. You're using more alcohol to cure your sickness from alcohol. For example, I drank too much beer last night. The only cure is the hair of the dog, I guess. People have always loved animals, and especially cats and dogs. They are the most popular pets around the world, and have even been worshipped as gods and used to help us work in the past. As they are so important to our societies, it is only natural that idioms surrounding cats and dogs have entered our languages and everyday vocabulary. So, on this episode of Thinking in English, I'm going to introduce you to 5 cat-based idioms and 5 dog-based idioms that you can apply to your daily lives. Make sure you look at the full transcript available on thinkinginenglishpod and head over to my Instagram page for some more content. Both links are in the description.